when is saving not worth it? For instance, yesterday's video, I talked about saving money and interest and building equity in your home. I said that the best way was to refinance to a shorter term. And of course, doing so would cost you an extra $500 a month, but saves tens of thousands in interest and eliminates PMI the fastest. And the question I have to ask is, what if you invested instead? Instead of refinancing to a shorter term and paying an extra $500 a month on your mortgage, what if you invested that money, say, in mutual funds? Sometimes we get tunnel vision. We get so focused on getting rid of debt that there might be other better options. Now, in the example from the other day, we had a 30-year mortgage of $200,000. We didn't pay any sort of down payment. And you know, I went through all of the specifics of that with you, okay? And I said that it ultimately, if you were to go to a 15-year term, it technically would cost you $492 more a month. If instead of putting that towards a mortgage, if we invested that in mutual funds and got a 12% rate of return, over 30 years, $492 a month would grow to $1,515,838,000. Our total contributions would be about $177,000. Now, guys, just in case some of this is throwing you off here, I'm going to put a link to an investment calculator in the description on this video on YouTube. And I'm also, at the end of that video, I'm going to put links to 3 other videos that I've done that kind of get into these concepts, okay? But the key to remember here is $492 a month, 12%, 30 years, $1.5 million, okay? Now, versus a 15-year mortgage where we actually paid less in interest, we would have saved $63,000 total in interest over that 15 years. If we then turned around and took the entire payment that we were paying to that mortgage, the $1,333, and we got 12% on that, and we got that for 15 years. At the end of 15 years, we would have $634,416. So our total contributions would be $239,940. You might as well just say $240,000, right? So our contributions in the same period of time would be more, and yet the result, what we would have earned would have been less. And that's what I'm talking about, tunnel vision, on savings and paying off debt versus putting that money to better use and investing it. Now, an astute observer is going to go, hey man, the part of the whole point was to, eliminate PMI. So what about the PMI? You got to factor that in too. And I would say, great job, way to pay attention, okay? Now, I've told you in a different video that I'm going to link that PMI averages around 0.5% and 2% on your mortgage. So just for the sake of this example, I'm going to say in both cases, the 30-year mortgage and the 15-year mortgage, we paid 1% in PMI to try and keep the math a little bit simple, okay? That makes PMI payments $167 a month. Remember, PMI is insurance that protects your lender. It does nothing for you. And if you want to find out more about that, please watch that video. But $167 a month on a 30-year mortgage, you're going to build up 20% equity and be able to eliminate your PMI in about 8 years and 7 months, okay? So again, if we invest that PMI payment of $167 a month, assuming again 12% is the rate of return, Then we're going to be doing that for 21 years and 5 months. It's going to grow to $183,539. And our contributions are going to be $42,925. Okay? So, on a 15-year mortgage, remember, part of the point was to get rid of PMI much sooner, and it does. It gets rid of it in 3 years and 6 months. So, $167, 12% rate of return. Over 26 years and 6 months, the amount of time that we would have to invest it, right? It would grow to $340,234. Our contributions would be $53,106. Now, it makes sense in this case that our PMI contributions are more because we would have longer to make contributions, okay? So, if you stuck with me this far, you're wondering, no doubt, okay, buddy, what's the punchline? Okay. The grand totals are, on a 30-year mortgage, if you just paid your 30-year mortgage, the 30-year mortgage that was only costing you 3% interest, then and invested the $492 that it would take to reduce the amount of time that you're in your mortgage and everything else, if you had, refinanced to a 15, over 30 years, that money would have grown to $1.7 million, and you would have contributed only $220,000. By the same token, give me a second here while I repair my tool so I can continue working. On a 15-year mortgage, you did all this to save money and interest. You saved a whopping $63,000 in interest, right? You would have earned $1,037,650. That's savings and earnings combined from interest savings from your loan, earnings from investing the PMI payment, and the $1,333 house payment over 15 years, okay? Your total contributions would be $293,046. So, once again, I'm making this point. I'm making it as best I can. I've made it before. I'm going to continue to do it, okay? With less time and more money invested, you would have been much better off putting the money to work for you and leaving your house payment as a 30-year mortgage. That's the final analysis, okay? The reason why that's the case, the reason why it makes a $700,000 difference to do that is because of compound interest and because of the number of doubling periods involved. Quite simply, your money had longer to work for you by just taking the $492 and investing it over 30 years, as opposed to being in a rush to be completely and entirely debt-free, and then taking the payment and instead investing it. You'd lost 15 years that your money could have been working for you. And your money has to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, really, to equal the same results. So, my point is, saving a little bit of money in interest and house payments is not always worth it. When I talk about your financial plan, when I discuss paying off debts, I usually leave off low interest debts. Low interest debts like your mortgage, low interest debts like your student loans. They should be low interest. If they're not, then build up your credit and refinance them so that they are lower interest debts. Take care of your high interest credit card debts, your high interest loan debts, and instead invest the money. And the sooner you start, the younger you are, the more doubling periods you have, the more your money has time to work for you. And hey, feel free to go through and check my numbers, guys. I've laid it all out there. I'm going to give you a link to an investment calculator. I'm willing to put it to the Pepsi challenge. But if you have questions, hit me with them at fustianfinance@gmail.com. Or as always, you can leave them in the comment below the video on YouTube. Or you can reach out to me here on Twitch and Xbox if you want. So far, nobody's done that yet.